Hello, y'all. It is Saturday, April 3rd, and I'm in here in my backyard. And I want to talk a little bit about agency in my life and how small things I can do affect the world around me in a bigger way. And the fact that I need to pay attention to that rather than just to gloss over it. The reason I need to pay attention to that is because I get overwhelmed by worldwide situations that I have no effect over. I think there's an illusion that's propagated by media, social media, and television, news, and other aspects of life that will say you should care about this, you should worry about this, you can change it, but really there's not a lot you can do as a person, a single person. I'm not saying to be nihilistic and give up and not try to affect change on the bigger scale, but to get wrapped up in that and get depressed and sad and angry because you are unable to affect change in a fast way, in a rapid way, is a problem that I have and perhaps other people have. So I want to share a couple stories where I have used my agency in my life to affect the world in a positive way, and I need to embrace that and I need to acknowledge that so that I can save my sanity. So I work with some really cool people and I interact with them a lot, and these stories revolve around those. So the first one is my friend Natalie that works in the whole body department. And she expressed an interest in photography to another friend that I have at work. And I happen to have this camera, or I had a camera, in my room that a friend had, he passed away. My friend passed away and his family gave it to me because his family knew we were very close. And me and Nick, the guy that passed away, we were really good friends, and he was always there for me, and it was super sad. And it's been hard to look over at that camera and think about the fact that I'm just not good at operating that DSLR with all the settings and the manual nature of it. And I tried a few times and I was not successful, and I gave it up. So I heard about my coworker Natalie being interested in photography, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm like, I have this camera and I bet she could put it to use. And I bet my friend Nick would be super psyched that someone was using it. So I gave it to her, and I tried not to, big up myself. Oh, you're giving away stuff. Great. But I just wanted to give it away, and I knew it would be appreciated by her. So I did. And then I heard later from another friend that she mentioned, oh, my dad is going to be jealous. And then I realized, oh yeah, she spoke with me about her father being interested in photography before, and that she wanted to kind of get into it too. And so I started reflecting on, wow, that's so cool. Like, maybe I facilitated a little bonding between her and her father, and who knows what else. Bonding between her and her father. Maybe she'll go on to do more photography, maybe in a professional way. Maybe it'll inspire her to travel. All sorts of things. And I could just see the positive ripples go out from that. And that's one example. Another example is a friend of mine in another department, young lady. She saw me playing my guitar on break, and I saw her look back, and she had this look that maybe like musicians give each other, where you're like, oh, you're playing music too. And I asked her, oh, you play music? You play guitar? She says, yes, but I don't have a guitar. And I just encouraged her, you should get a guitar. They're on Craigslist. They're on Facebook Marketplace. They're really easy to get. They're really cheap. They're always for sale. And And we also started talking about songwriting and how she had never written a song. And I played a couple of the silly little songs that I wrote and talked to her about that. And maybe 2 weeks later, she has a guitar. She's written a song. She's written more songs now. And this is all just because I started this conversation with someone who looked back like, oh, I wonder if they're a musician. And it was just a little thing, and the ripples went out. She got a guitar. She started writing songs. Who knows where that will go? She's got a beautiful voice. She's a good songwriter. If nothing else, it will allow her to foster a creative expression. If it goes farther than that, maybe she'll end up being a paid performer. Who knows? So another example of good things that come from just a little push. One of the other things I did is I was walking by my friend Armando, who's a security guard where I work, and I thought, oh, I wonder if he'd like to go trail running with me, because I've been going to trails and running here in the local mountains. And so yeah, I took him out there. We had a good time. It was nice. We had some good bro time together. And then a week later, he told me, oh, I took my kids out there and they really had a great time. And I can't remember, but I think he showed me some pictures of them in the creek. And it just blew my mind. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Because I just came up with this little thing like, oh, maybe he should come to the trail with me. Now his kids have gone to the trail and like had a great time. And who knows where that will go. Maybe they'll grow to love the woods even more just because I added a little bit to it. Maybe they'll get a career in forestry, maybe anything. Maybe, maybe it's just the fact that they're like out there enjoying nature a little bit more because I said to my friend, hey, let's go trail running. Just another like positive ripple just from something little that I can do and expressing the agency in my life. And let's see, the last thing I want to talk about is my friend Astrid. And we're really close friends, and we share a lot of philosophical conversations. And one day I was actually talking to another customer, and he shared a quote with me. I have the quote on my phone. So I'm going to pause this and come right back. Okay, the quote is, action conquers fear and removes doubt. And an additional quote that we were sharing with each other is, embracing uncertainty is the price of living a life that's actually yours. So action conquers fear and removes doubt. And embracing uncertainty is the price of living a life that's actually yours. So these came out of a conversation with a customer, super cool guy. I got stories about him too. But anyway, she looked at me. I shared these quotes with her during my workday, and she looked at me and with a kind of serious look, and she said, I really needed that right now. And I went, oh, that's interesting. And then a couple days later, another coworker came up to me and said, hey, did you know Astrid put in her 2 weeks notice? And I was like, really? Okay. And it turns out she had been contemplating leaving to further her career, her medical career, and she needed more time and space to do that, and she was thinking about letting go of the job where we work, but it was hard because it's just hard when you're working somewhere for years. Everybody knows you get comfortable, and that little moment I had, the inspiration to like share these quotes, kind of helped push her over the edge a little bit. I'm sure she was going to do it anyway, but maybe I helped her do it sooner just by sharing that. And it's kind of like divine inspiration. Like, why am I going to share this quote with her? It's just, anyway, I need to embrace effects that I have on the world that are positive and concentrate on that, because it's very nurturing to my soul. It's very life affirming, and it makes me content with being here with everything going on, and it keeps me from being overwhelmed by all the bad stuff that it's very hard for me to affect. So that's it. I just want to share a couple stories about agency and how I need to embrace it. Perhaps you want to look into it in your own life. I'm no philosopher and teacher, but it works for me. And that's about it. I hope you all have a good day and keep passing the open windows.